We are Cobb County Fire and Emergency Services with 29 stations covering 345 square miles and home to over 760,000 residents. The purpose of this podcast is to learn about our firefighters who selflessly serve Cobb County. For those who are interested in becoming a firefighter, we hope this podcast will give you a better understanding of what it takes to be in this profession. Welcome to the Cobb Fire Podcast. We have Dustin Martinez here, who's a captain with Cobb County Fire. We want to get to know him a little bit and what life is like before becoming a firefighter and after becoming a firefighter. And obviously, you've been fast tracking.
I don't know about that.
a little bit. Are you the youngest captain in the fire department right now?
I guess in the department right now, yes, but I wouldn't say fast tracking. I'm just a product of my environment and the people around me, and took the opportunities when they presented, but it's really the mentors and the people that invested in me that allowed me to get to this position. So it's certainly, I think, more on them than it is on me.
Okay. Well, tell us what life was like before you became a firefighter. Where did you grow up? What were you doing? What made you decide to become a firefighter?
Yeah, so I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised in a little suburb called Henderson, and kind of knew at an earlier age it was something that definitely interested me. So I joined a Henderson Explorer post out there right about when I was 16 years old, and right then and there I fell in love with it. It was just something I wanted to do. It linked up all the things I loved about being a high school athlete at the time, with the teamwork and the camaraderie and the work and the physical nature. And then, it also had that family environment that was, beneficial for me at that time. And so it certainly was something that piqued my interest. So I started kind of going down that rabbit hole and started going to EMT school back home and trying to get that certification to make myself more hireable. And once I graduated high school, I went to college for a year and quickly realized like that wasn't what I wanted to do. Started doing wildland fire, just trying to get hired. And I had tested all over. I was, out west, and was looking for large departments in urban areas, and Cobb County was hiring at the time. So took a chance, threw my app in there, and a couple thousand miles later, I was able to get hired. And in 2010, I started my recruit academy, and that was the best thing I ever did.
Talk a little bit about your academy experience. You're new out here. You don't know anyone. So what was it like for you in the academy?
I was 20 years old, youngest one in our academy. Right. Met some of the other ones that are around my age. I had gone through a school fire academy before I came out here, so I understood a little bit what the academy environment was like, and so you're really developing this camaraderie. And then by the end of the academy, after EMT school, you're invested not only in each other, but hey, where are you going? What station assignment are you getting? And there's guys that I talk to still from 14 years later from my academy. One of them was my brother-in-law now, and It's certainly a family, and it's your first introduction to the fire family, and it's really like the one you keep in touch with the most.
You finished the academy, so what was your first station? And then as a probie, what was that like? Do you feel like the crew there brought you in and that, you were kind of moving, they were helping direct you in the right direction, or did you feel like you were on your own just trying to make it?
No, I was fortunate. I had a little understanding of what probationary firefighter was like. From my days in Explorer, but that doesn't mean you're not explained to what the expectations are and what the standards are. So, showed up early. Day one, went to Station 2 in Fair Oaks. It was an engine rescue at the time, and your officer meets you, the crew meets you, and you just hit the ground running and you start understanding the engine. Like, that's your piece of equipment. That's your assignment. You're in the back of the engine, and you're responsible for learning everything you can about that apparatus and all the equipment on it, and how to use it properly. And so you're taking this foundational level from the recruit school environment, and you're applying it to the real world now. And so the crew immediately starts investing with you and starts training on, immediately, let's pull some hose. Let's make sure we can do these things that are important right now. That everything is geared, once you come out of the academy, of what situation you may encounter and put you as successful as you can as quick as possible. So you start drilling on the high probability situations, and then you start adding a little bit more complex scenarios. The thing that's awesome about the fire service is you're never going to master it. Like, you try and work on the basics because there are brilliance in the basics, and even the most complex scenarios are just those basic understandings in the exact right order. and those foundations implemented as a recruit day one, you may not see them for 5 or 6 years until that opportunity presents itself. And so that crew and really every crew that I was part of as my probationary year, we float to 2 or 3 stations as a probie to get different viewpoints and different officers. They made sure I was ready for anything I could encounter in that back seat, and they made sure that there was an expectation and a standard, and they were never, you'll figure it out. It was crawl, walk, run, and everything we did. So intro, drill, next level. Intro, drill, next level. And that was just an ongoing cycle, and we do it to this day.
How long did you wait before you tested for engineer?
I went 4 years. So I was a firefighter for 4 years. At the time, I was at Station 7, and I was actually gone on military orders. And so came back, and the opportunity presented itself, and I had some mentors. I was still kind of on the fence about it. And, Mike Barnett, my engineer, was like, hey, man, like, you're never going to feel 100% ready. So, let's learn. Let's take these steps for the test. And if you don't feel comfortable at all, and you don't feel like you're getting better or near it, like, you can always decide not to. And, but that same philosophy drilled in recruit school, like, be as good as you can, as much as you can. Like, that was, to me, what we applied to that testing procedure. So really started diving in and learning, and I was fortunate enough to do well on that test to become an engineer. And, but once again, like, you're only as good as those that you're surrounded by. So, they poured a lot into me to prepare me for that. And then when I got promoted, to the assignments I went as a engineer, like, they continued to make me better. And those crews and the experiences that they have, even though you're 4 years on as an engineer, like, they're not going to let you fail, because the end result means the citizen or the mission is a failure. So they're invested in you as well. And so I certainly learned a bunch going for promotion, and, I can't honestly tell you I was 100% ready, but, comfort's the enemy of growth, and sometimes you just got to take it on.
So career progression, obviously firefighter to engineer, then lieutenant, and then to captain. Can you talk about that? What it was like as far as transitioning from one position to another, and the behaviors behind what each position does, and how you were able to acclimate to the change, especially with people that you've known?
Yeah. For us, the engineer, let's start at the firefighter. Like, firefighter's responsibilities once they're off probation is to become a relief driver as well, to operate in that capacity. So, you learn as much as you can to be a successful relief operator, and whether it's driving an engine or a truck, and making sure that you're capable when your engineer's off. And then that certainly helps you transition to that position of an engineer, because additional responsibilities of being the subject matter expert on that piece of equipment, plus you're at an acting officer capacity. So when the company's officer is off, you're expected to move over and ride seat and find yourself in that decision-making capacity. And so once I took that on, I was enjoying it, loving life, and those same mentors that were there for me felt that, it would probably be a good idea if I try to become a company officer, a lieutenant. So I took that test. I didn't test the first time eligible. I wanted to learn really that seat riding component and, the aerial side of it, and learn the tiller, and then was able to become a company officer. And once again, like, I was only as good as those around me and those that had helped me. And I was fortunate to go to some great crews, have great opportunities, great calls, and that position where you're responsible for your people and making sure that they perform, they have everything they need. One of our incident priorities is provide for safety, accountability, and welfare of personnel. And to me, as a company officer, I always felt that was important, not just on an incident, but 24/7, 365. And so it was the ability to apply some of the stuff I learned in the military to the fire department, taking care of your people and making sure that they were able to perform. And so, I was doing the job as a lieutenant, got moved to the hazmat team. So that was a whole new skill for me that I was trying to learn, and started working at that. And those were new experiences and new training all over the country. I was able to go to different areas and trying to learn that skill. And at that point, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go for captain or not, but some of those same people and some of those same crews were encouraging me to. And you give it a shot. But if you're going to do it, you're going to go all in. So, we do a very rigorous preparation for our candidates that are going through promotion. And those same crews and those same mentors and those same battalion chiefs and captains over me, they invested in me and started, helping me prepare. And a lot of stuff we learn during the promotional process is helpful for once you make that position, because you're going through so many scenarios and situations and learning about it. And so, I took the captain's test, and I was fortunate enough to be one of them. And so all the credit really goes to those same guys that prepared me and those same crews, because, how they performed reflected on me, and, they really bought into what we were trying to accomplish, and they were the ones that were executing it. And without them, I wouldn't have been, successful as a company officer or given the opportunity to be captain. So
you've over the years, you've been heavily involved with training our recruit program. What do you notice about the difference between new firefighters who develop a good reputation and find a lot of success in their careers, and those that struggle in recruit school?
I think, first and foremost, when you look at the amount of sweat equity and investment that we put into our recruit academy, it's phenomenal. You're talking about every week in the academy is a different discipline, and with that is a different working group, and there's 10, 12, 14 instructors that are heavily invested in making sure not only our people are successful, but that standard of excellence in the department is maintained. And so we understand that wherever you come from, you may be an entry level with no experience, you may be a lateral. We understand some of these things it's your introduction, it's your first time, that crawl, walk, run methodology that's applied in the recruit school. The recruit that's going to get the best out of that is the one that has the desire and the work ethic. We understand there's going to be mistakes of execution. When you learn any new skill, there's mistakes, there's failures. Like, that's the place you want to do it in the recruit academy. You want to learn there. Those successful recruits are the ones that have the desire and have the drive and want to be better. And because they're typically going to listen to instruction very well, they're going to own the mistakes and learn from them, and they're going to want to be successful. And a lot of the things that we do in that recruit environment, specifically towards the end of each discipline, is as real world as we can make it. And so you start to see those successes pay off, and they start to see, the success, the outcome of that success. So I would say any recruit that comes to our academy or any fire academy, a good desire to learn with a work ethic and the ability to take constructive criticism will put you in that successful bracket of wherever you're at.
I know, with our hiring process, some of the questions that come up: do I need experience? Do I need to be mechanically inclined? Do I need to be this? Do I need to be that? You're out there.
I'm a subdivision kid from Las Vegas,
right? And so with that,
at some point somebody taught me, whether it was the Explorer Academy, whether it was Wildland, whether it was Cobb Fire, like somebody took the time to teach me. I'm not a legacy hire. I have no family that was in the fire service. It was a foreign thing to me. I just knew I wanted to do it. And, there was somebody there to teach me, and you absolutely can learn everything that you need in this department and in the recruit academy. If you've never started a chainsaw, that's why there's a whole day on how to operate a chainsaw from start to finish, to tear it down, to put it back together and start that operation. And then everything builds. So then you take that chainsaw to the roof and you start on ventilation, or, if you've never thrown a ladder before, well, guess what? We're going to teach you down to the foot placement and hand position, what you're supposed to do, what our target is. And then once again, we build on it. So now you're throwing that ladder to a window with a victim, and then you're transitioning into a building and pulling a victim out of it, or you're throwing it to a window with a live victim. Like, these components that we see in the real world environment, it goes back to the brilliance and the basics philosophy. So we instill at the very basic level what the expectation is and train that skill, and then it just builds and builds and builds.
And you're teaching from the very basics to get them to be.
Yeah. We're occupational athletes.
Right.
And so, every athlete had to take their first at bat or
Right.
first snap behind center. So, if it's going to be in our academy, we would love to be able to show you, what we think the right way is, and then drill down on the Cobb way and refine it.
So just to reiterate, you don't have to have any experience to be a firefighter.
No.
So what sets our academy apart from other academies? You've been around the country teaching, training people. So,
I would say most departments say they have the best training division out there.
Everybody's going to say that. But
yeah, I truly believe it. And I think when you look at our methodology and how we implement particularly our working group concept, I think that really sets us apart, and we see a lot of success from that. They are driven from day one on what the mission is of the department, protect lives and property. And we see that rolled out, whether it's hose, forcible entry, survival, search, ladders. They're all building and building and building. And what we do, I think that is unique, is every week or every discipline has a subject matter expert that we say, this is our top guy in this discipline. And they develop the curriculum. They make sure it meets the standards of the department and the state. And then they identify the members in the organization that have that same passion and same ability to teach and can connect with the recruit and deliver that product that they need to be successful. And so you see it build and build and build, that you go, hose week, then ladder week, then forcible entry week, and by search week, which I'm a little biased. That's my favorite week. I think it's the most important week we do. By the end of it, they're forcing doors and throwing ladders over gates and, doing second floor VESs and which is, vent enter search. You're going through a window trying to find a victim, pull them out. And they are doing it in realistic environments, and they're seeing things that they're going to see in the real world. And so when they get to the field and they encounter these situations, it might not be identical, but it's close enough that they can rely back to that foundational experience. And the more we can make muscle memory at the recruit level, mimic what they're going to see in the real world environment, the more successful they'll be. And I think that's why we do a very good job in our recruit academy.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what they've done, and seeing the changes even from when you hired on and
the recruit school now, and what our people are going through now, compared to what I went through. Right. They are so well prepared and so high performing by the time they hit their field. It's awesome to see an organization ensure that their people are prepared for realistic scenarios and situations, and we're seeing that successful outcomes because of that.
And then there's always new methodology that's come up, especially in the fire service, with the way buildings are built, with the contents that are inside. So it changes the dynamics of everything we do.
Yeah, I mean, our construction has evolved. How vertical we are now as a county with the expansion and the population boom. How close our buildings are, the different construction methods. The different apparatuses that we're getting, the different equipment on the apparatuses we're getting, having a major league ballpark has changed things, having a large university has changed things. These are all, as the county evolves, as the fire department, we're expected to just figure it out. And so we're relying on each other, and we're relying on other departments that have maybe encountered it. And we're relying on all the resources available to us. And so you look at what we have to accomplish in our all hazard response, whether it's dealing with the river, whether it's extrication, whether it's hazmat, whether it's, trench rescue calls. We have 3 major interstates that run through the county. We have lakes, we have rivers, we have large population areas with the ballpark and the stadium. I mean, there's so much out there that if you have that philosophy of you have it figured out, there's no way you can encounter it all. So you certainly have to open your mind and realize there are other people that can assist you in what you're trying to accomplish. I think that's the beauty of us as a department, is that, we take that diversity of thought and we apply it to everything we do. Different people have seen different things and different perspectives, and we kind of put this plan together based off, the best foundation we have from that group, and then we go execute it. The community partners have been fantastic as well. We have like one of the top elevator companies in the world headquartered here in the county. So we get the ability to train and, learn about that component of what we do. And they're in our backyard, and they're willing to show us. And we have, the Braves, and we're willing to train and able to train at those facilities, and all these construction companies with the cranes and different components that are coming in. We're very active in engaging that community to our advantage. And And, they see that same philosophy and understanding of, let's train now. So when we do encounter this situation, it's not the first time. It may be different, but it's not the first time. And so that partnership between the department and the community also allows us to be the best that we can be.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, this department has given me a lot of opportunities. I met my wife through a coworker at this department. I have 2 beautiful daughters, and I'm able to raise them and provide for them because of this department, and it's given me the ability to grow. It's allowed me to be uncomfortable and test myself in arenas. It's provided me the ability to go back to school. That wasn't something I certainly ever thought I would do at 20 years old, but between the tuition assistance programs and the reimbursements, I'm about to finish my master's degree. And it's all because I was given that opportunity here. I go back to that foundational, nugget that somebody gave me of the best department is the one that hires you. And Cobb has absolutely done that for me.
Outstanding. Well, appreciate your time and coming in and talk a little bit about yourself and your career progression and your experience with training and giving people an idea of what it would be like to come work with us over here at Cobb Fire.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and look forward to seeing some people come through the door.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Please like, follow, and subscribe for more content.